Established Rich coming right back at you. Right now, the internet is arguing about one question that has turned into a full-blown sports debate between Claressa Shields and Shannon Sharpe. And the reason this conversation is everywhere because it touches on three different things at one time: boxing skill, confidence, and the reality of what happens when a world champion steps into the ring with a man who has been trained to knock men out. Now, before we even touch the controversy, let's start with the respect. Claressa Shields is one of the most accomplished fighters walking the planet. 2 Olympic gold medals, multiple world titles, and a career that has made her the face of women's boxing. She calls herself the GWOAT, the greatest woman of all time. And if you look at her resume, that claim ain't just confidence. She can back that up with receipts. But the moment you are great at something, your confidence starts pushing boundaries. And that's exactly what happened here. During a conversation about her boxing skills, the question came up about whether or not she could be a male professional boxer. Not just any man, a trained professional. A man who has been in the ring with other men trying to take his head off. The name that entered the conversation was Rolando Romero.
Let me ask you a question. Is there a male champion, regardless of weight, that you believe you can
I beat Rolly. He's a world champion. Rolly Ramirez. Do you agree or disagree? Speaking out, never hold your peace.
I agree. I'm with you.
Do you watch boxing? Have you ever seen Rolly fight?
I did watch him fight. I seen he just won against
Ryan Garcia.
Against Ryan Garcia.
Listen, it's not about. I think Rolly is very unorthodox. He's very strong, right? But I'm way taller than him, way longer than him, and got better boxing skills.
So how about one of his punches, though?
Did you not hear what I said? It's hard for somebody smaller to hurt somebody that's bigger.
And she said, I'm bigger than him. Bigger guys, bigger boxers are generally going to win against smaller guys. I'm just your thoughts when you saw that clip. What did you think when you saw that?
I believe her. I believe she can beat me. Yeah, she'll knock me out.
I think you've been facetious.
No, I'm ready for her. I don't hit women.
That's true. I understand that. No, I just. Did you shake your head or did you say why out of all the names did you pull your name out of the hat?
No. I believe her. I truly believe she can beat me.
Yeah, interesting.
And when that claim made its way to the Nightcap podcast, Shannon Sharpe gave an answer that millions of people quietly agree with. Claressa Shields is the greatest woman boxer ever, but he also said he does not believe she could beat a male professional boxer.
Claressa, we love you. I've sat down and interviewed you. We've had you on the show. Yeah. Stop this nonsense. There is not a woman that when it comes to physical, UFC,
right,
boxing, whatever, if it's physicality involved, a woman is not beating a man. That's why they have women's sport. That's why they have men's sport.
Right.
Can we stop this? Come on now. Man, I love Claressa. You're not beating no man.
Now, that statement was not said with disrespect. It was said as an opinion about physical reality. The moment that clip started circulating, the internet exploded. Athletes started weighing in. Fans started picking sides. And Claressa Shields herself responded directly. She said the men talking about her can't even throw a proper punch. And she took a personal shot at Shannon Sharpe, saying he would throw his hip out trying to fight anybody. Now, when the conversation reaches this point, it stops being about a simple question. It's become about pride, about ego, and it becomes about how people interpret reality. Because the real debate here is not about whether or not Claressa Shields is great. That part is already decided. The real question is what happens when skills collide with biology. What happens when a world-class woman boxer enters a conversation about fighting a professional male boxer who has been trained to knock out other men? And that is a very different question. Because confidence is one of the reasons Claressa Shields became a champion. Confidence is the engine that drives great athletes. But confidence also has a limit when it runs into the realities of physical biology, when it runs into the realities of physical difference. Now, before people get emotional, let me make something clear. I believe Claressa Shields could beat 99% of the men just walking down the street. A regular guy like me who has never been trained, never sparred, and never felt a professional punch will have a very bad night with her. But a male professional boxer is not a regular man. A professional male boxer is a man who has spent years fighting other men who are trying to hurt him. And that is where this conversation becomes real. Because the difference between sparring and fighting is huge. Sparring is controlled. Sparring is training. A professional fight is something completely different. A professional fight is about damage. And that is why men and women compete in separate divisions in combat sports. Not out of disrespect, but out of physical reality. Now, here's where the story takes another turn. Because this ain't just a boxing debate. This is a cultural debate. A debate about whether people are allowed to say something uncomfortable, even though it might be true. Because when Shannon Sharpe gave his opinion, A lot of people immediately said he was being dismissive. But if you listen to what he actually said, he did the opposite. He called Claressa the GWOAT, the greatest woman boxer ever. And then he made a separate point about physical difference in sports. That's not hate. That's a discussion about reality. And whether people like it or not, reality don't change just because the conversation is uncomfortable. Because the same mindset that made Claressa Shields a 2-time Olympic gold medalist is the same mindset that makes her believe she can beat anybody. And that mindset is powerful. But it also creates one very important question. What is the confidence in? And where does reality begin? Now here's where we're going to separate emotion from reality. Because one of the biggest mistakes people are making in this debate is confusing two different things. Sparring and fighting. Those are not the same thing. Not even close. Sparring is where you work on timing, defense, footwork, and technique without trying to seriously hurt the person in front of you. It's like a classroom, a laboratory. But a professional fight is something completely different. A professional fight is about winning. It's about damage. A professional fight is about power and endurance and the ability to take a shot from somebody who is trying to finish you. And that difference matters a lot in this conversation. Because Claressa said something very important when she responded to Shannon Sharpe. She said she spars with men all the time. And I believe her. I mean, we all done seen it. In fact, most elite women boxers spar with men. It's common. It happens in gyms all over the world. But here's the part that gets lost when people hear it. The men sparring with her are not trying to knock her out. They are training. They are helping her prepare for fights. And that is a very different environment than a professional fight. Because when a professional man enters the ring against another professional man, there is no holding back. There is no training mode. There is only one objective, win. And if possible, win by knockout. And that's why this conversation about Rolly is so important. Romero is not a casual fighter. He is a professional who has spent years in the ring against other men who hit hard. Men who train every day to develop power. Men who understand exactly how to finish a fight. And when you start talking about a matchup like that, you are talking about a completely different level of physical force.
So you saying that if it's money and belts on the line, and I got me a 2 or 3 month camp, you telling me that Rolly gonna knock me out up in what round?
Yes, yes, Rolly would stop. Rolly would stop you. Yes, Rolly would stop you. Yes, I believe Rolly would stop you.
You are nuts, but I love that for you because when you don't know boxing, you just don't know boxing that well, and you don't know me that well. But I would say this: I've never went inside the ring with anybody and been just, hey. You go my chin, hit me right in the... Come on now. Did you not see the defense and the offense in my last fight? I just want to know.
Yes.
Can you answer the question?
That was against
Did you not see offense and defense?
This is Rolly, a 3-division champ.
Listen, guys that really know how to box, I would tell you that they can do what they can do, that they better boxers or skilled or powerful or whatever they mean. Rolly is not.
Even if you walk around at 180.
Rolly is not.
He walks around, let's just say for the sake of argument, if he's making weight at 147, I'm saying he's probably walking around at 160, 165. I'm going to be generous and say he's stripping between 15 and 20 pounds off. Even at 155, 165, his body still produces more testosterone as yours.
Nobody ever said I was stronger than Rolly. I never said that. When he said that. I am telling you off of pure boxing. Look, Deontay Wilder had 41 knockouts. He getting there with a pure boxer like Tyson Fury and lose. This is man to man, but I am telling you, skill to skill, skill to skill. You are not looking at skill to skill, man. You're just not because you can't because you're too macho.
You're looking at Rolly like he's not skilled. You're looking at Rolly like he's not skilled.
What? I am telling you that Rolly is skilled. He's not better skilled than me. And Ocho even just told you that. Ocho just told you that.
Ocho, he's not as skilled as Claressa. Yeah. Do you believe Claressa can beat him in a fight, in a sanctioned fight, a 12-round fight with 10-ounce gloves? Do you believe Claressa could beat him?
That's what I explained in when I first said it. Are you going to be able to protect yourself in a 10-round fight and not get caught in exchanges?
What you gotta do is tuck your chin and keep your fucking hands up. What are we talking? I'm finna go in there. I'm finna go power for power with Rolly. Man, come on. You seen the jab in the fight. You seen the head movement. You seen the body work. And anybody that know when you fight against somebody that's strong, you hit them where? The body.
Where do you think he's gonna hit you?
Early. I'm taking all this power from him.
But you've never been hit by a man without headgear.
If I go and I watch film on Rolly, and I go and I really dissect him and see what you do good and what you do bad, I'm telling you, I know that my skill can beat him. But if I really did my homework and really have to sit there with it and prepare, I'm gonna go and spar against Keyshawn Davis. I'm gonna have to call up Tiafimo. I'm gonna have to call up Shakur. Hey y'all, come help me get ready. I'm gonna have to call Terrence Crawford. Hey y'all, help me get ready. And I guarantee you, if I done that, which I would, because that's how professionals and that's how fighters and champions think. With them helping me prepare, and then me having Uncle Shannon said a sanctioned fight with Rolly. I'm sorry, you guys, but the truth is in the pudding, and that I will win.
Now, some people hear this and think it's disrespectful to Claressa Shields. It's not. This is actually the opposite of disrespect. This is acknowledging how combat sports work, because combat sports are built on weight classes and divisions. They exist because size, strength, and power matter. That's why lightweight don't fight heavyweight. And it's also why men and women have different competitions. Not because one is better, but because they are different. And different physical attributes create different dynamics. Now listen, what started as a simple sports opinion turned into a much bigger debate. And that cultural debate is about something we see all the time today. What happens when reality makes people uncomfortable? See, the moment Shannon Sharpe said he didn't believe Claressa Shields could beat a male professional boxer, some people heard sports analysis and other people heard hate. And that's where the internet turned this into a war. Because these days, anytime somebody talks about physical differences in sports, it immediately becomes emotional. But combat sports has always been about physical reality. That's why there are weight classes, divisions. That's why the sport is structured the way it is. Not to disrespect anyone, but to protect athletes. Because when you're talking about a sport where people are trying to knock each other out, physical differences matter a lot. And that's why this claim about fighting a male professional boxer changed this conversation. Not because Claressa Shields isn't great, but because professional male boxers train in a very different environment. They are used to taking punches from men who weigh more, hit harder, and generate a different level of force. That don't take nothing away from Claressa Shields' legacy. In fact, it does the opposite. It highlights how great she is within the sport she dominates. Her confidence, her skill, her ability to promote herself and her sport, all of that has helped bring attention to women boxing. But here's where the conversation needs balance. Confidence is fuel for champions. Every great athlete believes they can beat anybody. That belief is part of what makes them special. But the public don't always interpret that confidence the same way. When an athlete makes a claim that goes beyond the boundaries of their normal sport, people start analyzing it differently. They start comparing physical realities. And that's what happened here. Because if Claressa Shields fought a regular man who never trained, never sparred, never been in a boxing gym, she would probably destroy him. There are plenty of men who will have no idea what to do in a ring with a world champion boxer. But a male professional boxer is not a regular man. And that's the part of this debate that Shannon Sharpe was pointing out. Not to disrespect Claressa Shields, but to acknowledge how combat sports work. And that's why this conversation should have stayed a sports discussion, a healthy debate, a back and forth about matchups and reality. But once personal shots entered the conversation, the discussion started shifting away from analysis. And that's why I think this story lost some of its power. Because Shannon Sharpe wasn't speaking as a fighter, he was speaking as a commentator. And sometimes when people hear an opinion they don't like, they turn it into a personal conflict. But sports debates have always been built on different opinions. That's how the conversation grows. At the end of the day, the most important thing about this situation is this. Claressa Shields is still one of the greatest boxers of her generation. Shannon Sharpe is still entitled to his opinion. And the internet will always turn a simple debate into a massive argument. But when you step back and remove the emotion from the conversation, the real lesson is simple. Great athletes are built on confidence, but great sports discussions are built on honesty. But hey, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Like, comment, subscribe. Establish Rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.